check it before you hate me. But when I'm about to flow in this statement, we took a need for justice. Now people are flaking, so cops are speaking, says you know. This is the criminal, don't be big and black, pop 'em, so I can go to my family. But what if I do with the shot? Now his family is crying, another victim dying. Of injustice to the press, I'm a son of a. Because I took a knee, but who's privileged and rich? Who built a country, got black blood and slaves of freedom. This stardom with no word to stay. My control devices, you don't want me to be silent. You wanna fight North Korea but can't find ISIS. You want me to stand for a flag, pledge allegiance, remove my hat. The really never had my back. Get through the military beginning like we disrespect them. You disrespect them every time they go and kill men. They never did nothing on the premise of freedom. But who started all these wars to determine the century? I'm gonna take a knee like Cap. This is born from rap. It's for the murders of the people that we can't get back. Until you understand, this is not about a flag. It's about fixing the country. I don't care if you're mad. This is about fixing up before we start a crisis. This is fighting white supremacy. That's why we so divisive, man. Systematic, now you can fight it and can face it, or exit the matrix. Just like history lessons before we came to this country. We lived all over the world and shaped it firmly from the Bible that's black and the Romans that too. For Babylonian evil too, we built that too. First on the planet, check. Y chromosome check. You can hate me, but you really ain't told us yet. Where we came from in Africa, but you want us to go. Let's just see how you feel if you got on the boat, trapping in Cuban waste. And he chasing you shackled in a dude with a whip said, call me master. But you said in the evil when it came out, master with your oppression in Hebrew. But they beat that too, no more native tongue. Changing communication, then you forcefully live without no hesitation. Then you freed us in the slave patrol, became a pole. Used to run for freedom, now we running some more. We build up our communities just to watch it get bombed. Then you kill all our heroes, one pop at a time. Now it's bomb bursting to a brother like me. Sounds if I get out of line, then I'm dead in the street. If we all created equal and that's the decree, then why nobody in this land showed me? Whoa.
Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Who am I but a Dre Mac? Came into the game just to spit facts. Into the space that I'm in. They call me Bobby Drake cause I'm cold with the pen. I run no diamonds but I still shine. You can dig me cause my boy's mine. My tracks flame like a Daluda. On the floor on my tongue, 50 years of warm blue. I'm a throw with a gas leak. Camouflage in the mist, but you smell me. One spark, then I bet you I'ma blow up. They throw my name around, get stupid, then you go dumb. No rest for the weary. A versus thinking in us, man, but you can't see me. You rather drink, they gon' pull up. But drink a knife through the game, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. I came to eat at the a la carte. Got stripped of a bear, call me brainstorm. Then I come together like a Voltron. Then I pour all the plaques, you use the Decepticons. Straight rappers to the streets like Cobra. 80s they get floating like up in the storage and I mean, man, up, down, man, I'm cheap. You a beast, man, I take a beat in. Ninja turtle rap, turtle glands, get the feed in. Hot in my ride, you can call me Night Rider. You can never stop me, cause I'm a guy bomb. Bad attitude like Maracas, my whole to the A, and I bet you can stop us. LL bad, when I go and show up, you can hear the haters in the back. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system.
You know, at least y'all had some music. Y'all ain't got no sound? The mic is not muted. What the hell? See what I mean? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Y'all hear me now? Put a 1 in the chat and tell me if you can hear me now. Okay, all right. Well, thank you again so very much for your time and your patience. Welcome to another episode of the Dre Mack Show. I am your host, Dre Mack. 7:30 in the morning, Central Time, 8:30 on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast right now, go ahead and get up because the early bird gets the worm. And I was not trying to take all day, but there was a lot, like I said, on the back end that just was not happening right. Obviously, y'all could tell because the actual mic wasn't even working. So, like I said, I thought I had to resort to using my phone because just things are not going the way that I planned them to go this morning. It's just not happening. But we got things to do. The Black superhero problem in comics, and this is coming from a brother. Let me see. Let me get the name one more time. I think Torian shared this with me. The Unlucky Dreamer. I'm about to tag him into this video. So, but I want to hear what he actually had to say about the issues with black superheroes in comics right now. I already know what we have as far as the problem in media right now. The media looks, I'm not gonna lie, the media looks, it's trash right now. You know what I mean? The media is trash right now. But you know, this right here, it's getting bad. Let's just say it like this. It's getting bad. So we're about to get into it today. Hopefully you guys are happy. Hopefully you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Gant over at the Heavy Gant channel. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. You already know what it is. The real question is, are you
say why you hating on my energy? Say why you hating on my energy? I don't think you wanna be my enemy.
All right. Let me shout out everybody who is in here. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Robin D, the admin. What's up? Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Krisha Key, what's up? Good morning. Torian Rain Reloaded, good morning. X-Man, Xavier Phoenix, good morning. Michael Johnson, good morning. Andre Ware, good morning. Q is not a robot, one of the newest admins. What's up? Good morning. Wavy Thames. What's up? Good morning. And I wish it was that easy this morning. Grady, other admin, is up here. What's up? No, the grifters ain't got me. The grifters ain't got me. Tina, aka Minty Gasm, what's up? What the fuck? I'm sorry. I ain't got time for that. But let me see. Arbico, what's up? Keisha Ware, what's up? Let me see. Who else is in here? Loki D, what's up? Let me see. Who else is in? Dirty Joker, good morning. Let me see. Who else? Magic Khan, what's up? Maverick 77 Defender, what's up? Also RIP to the brother who got killed by ICE too. Let me see. Savage Cabbage, good morning. You said this topic right here. We're gonna get into it. We are going to get into it. But before we get into it, let me shout out all my crew members, man. If it wasn't for y'all, man, I would not do this, man. And all the people who are subscribed to the channel, all the new subscribers, man, let's go. Hold up. Wait a minute. Whoa. Stop everything you're doing. Go and hit that like button. I know this is probably your first time watching, and you probably enjoying everything. Stop fucking on the channel and go and hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos or one of my morning live streams. And for only $2.99 a month, you know you can be a part of the crew. And shout out to all my crew members that have been holding it down for Dre Mac and the crew since the beginning. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program, now in service. Go. Bye. All right. And again, thank you guys who are a part of the crew. And if you want to be a part of the crew, all you have to do is hit the join button on the main show, and that gets you set up to be a part of the crew. All right, we're gonna transition over real quick. I'm going to take a quick commercial break so we can set the video up, and I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mac Show.
We'll be
right back.
It's just your mama's raisin butter biscuits. That's all it is.
Not my mama biscuits.
Whoop they do.
Take a love to a biscuit, man.
Whoop they do.
Okay, so what happened is one time Randy Beeman went on a trip with his dad, and they picked up a lady who wanted to ride home, and this was in Kansas. and she sat in the back seat, and when they got where she wanted to go, they turned around and she was gone. And Randy Beeman's dad talked to the man who lived there and told him what the lady looked like, and the man said, "Oh, that's my wife, but she died 4 years ago." Spooky, huh? Okay, bye.
Whoop-de-doo.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Whoop-de-doo.
Good idea. Visiting the circus. Bad idea. Having the circus visit you.
We now return to the Transformers.
All right. Emerald Goddess, what's up? All right, let's transition over real quick. Where'd the music go? There we go. All right, let's This is, like I said, man, if it ain't one thing, it's another. There we go. All right, let's get this thing started. Let me share my screen real quick, and let's hear the Unlucky Dreamer. Let's see what he has to say about the problems with black superheroes. All right, in comics, let's go. Let's get this thing started.
Both DC and Marvel have made strides in the past decades to be more inclusive companies in and outside of their universes, giving a platform to deserving black and brown writers and artists, creating a plethora of black and brown characters that have taken the cultural zeitgeist by storm. Miles Morales, Static, Jon Stewart, Black Panther, just to name a few. But what if I told you just because representation was improving doesn't mean that they are committed to these characters? Because of all the characters I just named, as of next month, will not have an ongoing main universe title. In fact, DC in particular hasn't had a black character as a main character in a main universe ongoing solo series in over 1,000 days.
Damn. Over 1,000 days. Where my man Chillmonger at? He needs to talk about this too. Over 1,000 days, and DC hasn't had a ongoing story for a black character. 365 days in a year, 366 on a leap year. Think about that. That's damn near 3 years, of not having, that is 3 years, or close to it, of not having a black superhero of an ongoing series. Just think about it like that. Let's keep going.
And with Avengers Doomsday presumably bringing back Steve Rogers as a main character, I think it officially confirms Marvel never cared to do anything with Sam Wilson's Captain America. I mean, the only logical conclusion someone would come to is that they don't care about their black and brown characters.
Told you.
Industry like this, you can always show face, give a few characters a miniseries here, an important role in a team book there, and always make sure to bring them out in accordance to the month where their background is celebrated. As of right now, I think it is fair to say these companies don't truly care about committing to representation, because if they did, they would allow these black and brown characters more leeway with ongoing runs and big screen validation.
I said that about Captain America. I was like, Captain America had an opportunity to go against his own Rose Gallery to create his own thing. And what did they do? They dropped the ball and put him in the Hulk 1.5. They supplanted T'Challa for Shuri. And again, there's nothing wrong with Shuri. Shuri was a Black Panther. She was not the Black Panther in the series. And people just got mad about that. But you have to understand that these are series that are ran by original black characters. T'Challa is a original black character. She was a supporting, because she got written in 2005 by Rachel Hunland to be a supporting character and to be a Black Panther for young girls too. You know what I mean? But she was not the Black Panther. It was always T'Challa. It will always be T'Challa. But you allow Marvel and all these other companies to sell you on some bull crap. And then y'all fall for it and then argue with people who actually buy these comics. Come on now, let's keep going.
Here, let me explain. An ongoing comic is basically a series that doesn't have a determined ending. The creative team at the time might have an ending for their story that they want to tell, but once they're done, another creative team hops on the book and tells their story under the same title. Another important detail of the ongoing distinction is that it is a book that goes over 12 issues or over a year. Ongoings are not only creator friendly by guaranteeing them a job for months on end, it also is tremendously beneficial for a character's growth. Nightwing currently has the longest ongoing in DC Comics right now, and the book has been through 8 creative teams, 4 initiative revamps, and it's still chugging. The benefit with these books is that characters get to fail forward because they can have bad issues, bad arcs, or even whole runs that are just complete dog shit.
From the team!
But to know this character can get a chance to recover,
that's hilarious. I like that.
Sometime soon is what keeps people coming back eventually. Miles Morales is the only black character as of January 2026 to have an ongoing in the main universe, but like I said before, his series will be ending this month at 42. Side note, I wonder if they did that on purpose because everyone knows about the number 42 significance to Miles. But black and brown characters are usually subjugated to mini and limited series. These are small contained stories with a planned end date that usually a lot of new readers can jump onto quickly and easily because it requires no background knowledge.
This was the problem with the last Black Panther series that was done by Dr. Eve Ewing. And again, shout out to Dr. Eve Ewing. She did an amazing job, but it wasn't enough time for her to ground out the story that she wanted to really tell to me. And there was some elements on it that was good. There was also some elements of that comic that was not good, and it didn't make a significance on who T'Challa is or put it back on the throne or anything like that. Me and Chillbugger talked about this in 2024. You know what I mean? So I do agree with this brother. There's not enough meat on the bone for people to get up under it, for a long series, but other characters who could get these long arching arcs despite what people think of these arcs. You know what I mean? And there's not enough black characters, because we can always, there's going to be somebody who's like, well, this white character, he didn't have a long series of this white character, or this character, or get this character. We're only talking about the black characters. So say those comments unless you're talking about black characters. Let's keep going.
I don't have a huge dislike of this series format, but I think specifically with miniseries, it's supposed to show a proof of concept for a character and story, making sure there's an audience for that character with 6 issues before giving them an ongoing. But lately, it doesn't seem like that's the case for these miniseries, specifically with black characters. Steel, Cyborg, Black Lightning all received mini issues, but never anything more. But a series like Green Lantern Rebirth was a 6-issue miniseries that reintroduced Hal as Green Lantern again, and it was received so well that Geoff Johns got to write an ongoing Green Lantern series that went on for 60 issues and completely redefined the Green Lantern mythos. And a couple of years later, he got to write Flash Rebirth, a miniseries that reintroduced Barry Allen. And what happened next? He received an ongoing series that led into Flashpoint, which led into the New 52, which is something we just don't need to talk about.
I mean, if you think about it, when he's talking about like Geoff Johns and these big writers, that's the ones that they want to rewrite the series when they want, if you notice, to go back to status quo. When we go back to status quo, you get the big guy. You get the main comic book writer that everybody knows. You get him, he turns around, he writes a series, everybody loves it. Oh, snap, he's going back to status quo, just like what the Russos are doing right now in the MCU. It's no different. It's no different. They go on, watch. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if they paid, because Marvel and Disney would do that. They'll pay Chris Evans a boatload of money to come back as Captain America in the MCU, because they do this in comics. You know what I mean? They do this in comics. If Geoff Johns in DC, Jonathan Hickman in Marvel, they do the same. It's a loop. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was to happen. Let's keep going.
Mine got fucked up.
Even most recently, Zatanna had a fantastic miniseries which led her to getting her own ongoing next year, a part of DC's Next Level Initiative. And since I brought up the Next Level Initiative, let's just talk about it right now. This is supposed to be DC's next era, like Dawn of DC, but this time the distinction is that they're going to give underutilized and quote-unquote second-tier characters ongoings. Deathstroke, Lobo, Batwoman, all characters that are receiving titles in the coming months. But do you notice something that is missing from this list?
The black
There's
characters.
no black or brown characters, and frankly, they're the definition of underutilized. I mean, I know everyone loves Deathstroke, even after the Epstein files, but I think if you wanted to highlight a villain's character, you should do Bane. He's a villain we last saw fighting Damian years removed from killing Alfred. There hasn't been much use for him as a character in the universe for a couple of years, but apparently he's in Hush 2, which I personally refuse to read, so I have no idea what's going on there. But Deathstroke got a full series of the New 52 that showed you why he's a certified piece of shit. And you don't necessarily have to go that route with Bane. It could have been something different. Not saying that this Deathstroke series won't be different from the last. I'm just saying that the character we focus on could be selected more optimally. Actually, I should just...
In fact, it did. Think about it. Bane is a Mexican character that they are not using. And just to kind of give you a heads up, Marvel just dropped that Wakanda version, the Wakanda Fantastic Four version of the trailer for Doomsday, and named it Doomsday Clock. Just letting y'all know.
Go through characters with a ton of potential for an ongoing right now. We haven't seen much from Luke Cage since Devil's Reign, where he became the freaking mayor of New York, a role that you think would warrant a series about his new position and the problems and status quo changes that would occur. And you know, similar to Luke Cage, Black Lightning has always been a person similar to him in the DC universe. He is a hero that is constantly at odds with the Justice League because he fights for his community and his people. A self-labeled outsider that is never afraid to tell the truth. He received a miniseries a couple of years ago with his daughters, and it was fun and all, but like I said before, how to grow these characters' narrative and popularity is through consistent commitment through ongoings. I think they had the right idea with the miniseries being a family ordeal, and the premise could work as an ongoing series, as we've seen this type of book throughout the years, like with the Bat Family, Arrow and Canary, and most similarly, Tomasi Superman. I hope DC is looking into making a full series for Mr. Terrific to capitalize off his hype from James Gunn's Superman movie, because his year one miniseries was great this year, and that's coming from a guy that doesn't like origin stories that much. Batman Year One, overrated. Born to Run, Green Lantern Secret Origin, it's kind of fire. But anyway, back to the topic. Following the success of Mr. Terrific Year One, it would be great to see Michael have his own solo run again.
And then also, that's something that I've noticed, that they only do the popularity when it comes to the black characters during February. And guess what's coming up next month?
It looks like he's getting kicked off his own team that he was holding together with duct tape and bandages, the Justice League Unlimited after DCKO, and with the Terrifics not being a thing right now, it seems like the perfect time to have him venture off into a solo run for a while. But if you couldn't tell already, I'm a big DC guy, and even though DC is putting belt to Marvel's ass comics-wise, I still find it strange that they don't try to capitalize on characters that are similar to their marquee guys. For example, Jaime Reyes. For decades, DC wanted to have a solo teenage superhero like Spider-Man, and when they did, they actually did pretty well.
That's another Mexican character that DC has a problem with dropping the ball when it comes to a lot of black characters to me, but that's my personal opinion.
Well with him, all things considered. He's always been a part of the universe through many ongoing since his creation, and has been a part of the Titans for a considerable amount of time, and most importantly, he was in shows like Brave and the Bold and Young Justice, and he started to become a recognizable name and character to most people. But when he finally got his big screen debut in 2023, that should have been the boom for the character. After that movie, he should have always had a book coming out no matter what, because he's a character that demands that kind of attention.
This is when comic book characters, this is why I always have pushback, and I always tell people, Jay Ward, what's up? That stop asking for secondary characters to be the main character. It don't work like that. What happens is you put the comic book character, the mainstay comic book character on screen, and then what happens is they get a series. So people who buy the comics can buy the books, and people who buy the comics can tell their other friends, hey, that guy we just seen on TV, guess what? He has a comic book coming out. You should read it. You know what I mean? He has a series coming out. That's how you grow the character. The merch, all of that. This is how you grow the character.
Doesn't matter how the movie performed or how
And shout
good
out
it
to the
was,
Black Comic
it's
Book
just something
Lords,
that's
too.
present for some reason. Harley Quinn has always had an ongoing since Suicide Squad. Black Adam had a crazy push in 2022, and he's still a pretty big deal in DC right
Kid
now.
Gravity?
But with Blue Beetle, he just got a short-lived limited series that was really fun, showing his new young adult life. It was supposed to be a new era for the character, but instead he's a backup character in Justice League Unlimited that's lucky if he gets 2 lines. DC also has an Iron Man stand-in with John Henry Irons that is barely used, but I hope can get some more utilization, seeing that Superman is going to disappear after DCKO. He holds a pretty unique place in the Superman family, being the only one without powers or married to a person with powers. What puts him on the level of Supes is his intellect and his wealth, and not to explore that more, I think could be a waste, as you could easily carve him in an Iron Man role into your universe. Someone similar to John and his own family dynamics is the Signal or Duke Thomas. He has the exact opposite relationship with his family, seeing he's the only Bat family member with powers. Well, now there's Cassandra Cain going to have bloodbending powers, but still, Duke operates in Gotham pretty much alone in the daytime, and that could be an easy series for DC, seeing they already have at least 10 Bat family books running at once, and having them take place in Gotham all at night. He could easily add some variety in the linchpin that seems to be holding your company together. But DC Comics actually has a sleeping powerhouse.
Because again, they don't care about these comic book characters. If they did, that will push them. But no, they want to go with the status quo. Again, they want to go with the status quo. And they think that's the only people. They're literally just going backwards. You know, Jack Kirby talked about creating characters so it represents the people that he knows. Sam was saying the same thing with Stan Lee. You know, these comic book executives and stuff like that just don't think we're into this stuff. And we literally, you go to a Comic-Con, you will see tons of black people dressed up in comic book characters, but they don't want to capitalize on it. And we bring money
on their hands with a character like Vixen. She seriously has some Superman level strength potential for the power scalers out there. Everyone should know Mari McCobb can mimic animals' abilities through her connection with the Red, but what a lot of people may not know is that she can also mimic the abilities of Justice Leaguers, because they're animals too. So she could have the powers of Superman if she needed, or Green Arrow, or Flash, and I feel like they're losing out by not expanding on that, because these freaking greasy power scalers would eat that junk up for breakfast, lunch, and plus, she's a fashionista. And what you looky here, Stephanie Williams is literally trying to manifest an opportunity to write a Vixen solo story. So let's get on that, DC. But I guess it's time to address the elephant in the room. When talking about potential in black characters, it's clear that Milestone Media should be the priority. The 90s comic company that introduced the world to Static, Hardware, Icon, and Rocket, and many other diverse characters. In the 90s, their comics were considered risky, but today we consider their stories progressive and thought-provoking. Milestone characters were always unique because they were set in a world outside the DC universe, and their stories weren't affected or influenced by DC editorial. All ideas came straight from the Milestone creators. This partnership soon faded though, and Static most notably was included in the DCU and went on to appear in small roles across other DC animated projects. He was also brought into the DC universe in the 2000s, being a member of the Titans for a little bit, and almost made it onto the new Young Justice team before Barry fucks everything up.
And they completely dropped the ball on Static. Let's be honest. Static goes back, especially if you're a 90s kid, you know what I'm saying? Static goes back for the 90s kids, you know, that, you know, they were watching, you know, Static Shock on television. You know what I mean? So Static actually is in the zeitgeist of the kids that came up, that's in their, you know, if you're in your, you know, your late 20s or 30s, you know, even in your early 40s, you knew about Static. You know what I mean? And would love to get Static toys, Static, you know, the Static show coming back. None of that happened. You know what I mean? Let's keep going.
Them the niggas we got to kill and get rid of. Them kind of niggas.
There's always been legal trouble involving these characters, and that's the main reason why these characters haven't been a big fixture in the DC universe as time has passed. But I think going forward, DC seems to have some kind of rights to these characters, and they have already tried to implement these characters into the universe by saying they all just mysteriously disappeared, and we'll all find out how they come back in, surprise, surprise, the annual Black History Month special.
What I say, in February. That's when they all come back, in February. And again, you know, it's kind of like if you're a big wrestling fan, when WCW got bought out by WWF, and then they brought those people over and they shat on those wrestlers. They didn't care nothing about those wrestlers. They shat on all those wrestlers because they felt like their wrestlers were better. You know what I mean? Andre Burrell, thank you so very much for the $2 super. Yeah, it's the one I talked about, and you know, yeah, I told you it's man to me. What do I need to get excited about? But appreciate the super chat. Let's go.
You are truly amazing. Thank you for your super chat.
All right, let's keep this thing going because I really don't have that much time.
A book that they do every year that leads absolutely nowhere. Which honestly concerns me because these are original Black and brown characters created by Black and brown creators. So if there's any Black or brown heroes that need to have an ongoing, it should be someone from the Dakotaverse. As of right now, DC has not announced any plans for these characters following the event, but even if they did, do we know if they would even follow through? Because on the movie and TV side of things, their announcements seem to conveniently just fall through. Milestone was supposed to have a whole animated movie, but it just disappeared, and Michael B. Jordan was supposed to produce a static movie, but again, we have not heard a peep since.
And that was 6 years ago. Almost 6 years
honestly,
ago.
This seems like a trend for all Black characters in adaptations to the big and small screen. Even on the other side of the biz,
I'm about to say, let's think about it. Every time it comes to Black people, there's always these hula hoops everybody want to jump through. Have y'all ever played Superman on Nintendo 64, Superman the animated series? You always got to fly through the damn rings when it comes to Black people. When it comes to Black people, you got to fly through the rings, and it sucks. When it comes to our characters, when we try to get it back on screen, all of that, there's always these gymnastics that we have to do when it come back on screen. With white characters, you never had that problem. You never hear those issues. And then we got to fight amongst other Black people trying to justify this madness, this craziness.
Marvel is not innocent from the delay and somewhat forgetful attitude towards their minority characters. Everyone knows about the consistent rewrites and delays of Blade, a character that practically saved Marvel in the late 90s. They even have an A-tier actor already signed on, and they still struggle to get a project together. But compare that to Sony fast-tracking Venom just because Tom Hardy was attached, or when Fox believed Ryan Reynolds could make something good out of Deadpool with a second try.
I mean, is he not cooking with fish grease right now? Example after example right now. Again, Tom Hardy, fantastic actor. You know what I'm saying? Not taking anything away from him. Hurried up and made a Venom movie. You know what I mean? Again, you know, with the Captain America New World Order, or whatever, Captain America Brave and the Bold, or Brave and the Beautiful, or Brave New World, or whatever it's called, hurried up and fast tracked it because Harrison Ford was now taking over for William Hurt. But when it came to Mahershala Ali Blade, and we just seen Sinners get made in 10, I'm talking about wrote, made, wrapped, post in 10 months. And we're talking about 6 years, damn near 6 years later.
Studios would usually go out their way to please their superstar actor, but not over here. Another project that was just left in the dust was Armor Wars, a project that was supposed to center on Rhodey and the fallout of Tony's death and his armors falling into the wrong hands. This series or movie, as it was later turned into, could have been a great follow-up for the Iron Man franchise since they're so attached to this side of the universe for some reason, but it just never went forward. And now after Secret Invasion, I just don't think they want to jump through all those hoops to make this thing happen. It's been years and Stark Industries has been long gone. Instead, they decided to continue the Iron Man franchise partially with a character like Ironheart, but for some reason they didn't fully support this project. It could have been because it came at the latter end of the Disney shows, or maybe they just didn't believe in the narrative. Either way, they didn't believe.
I truly believe, to answer that question, they didn't believe in the character at all. They didn't believe in the character. They started to look at the backlash, and you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Which is ridiculous.
There's barely any marketing for this show, and the release of the show was delayed nearly 2 years before its 6-episode dump on Disney Plus, 3 episodes at a time. So far, all the examples I've talked about shows how Marvel doesn't care, but I think the T'Challa situation might show that they care a little too much to the point where they damage a character and IP. I love Wakanda Forever and the arc Shuri goes through in the film, and I feel it was necessary for the cast and crew working on the film to make a project that was about grief and remembrance for their friend. But I feel like Marvel saw this as a green light to just ghost T'Challa in every other form of media, seeing he is currently not in the MCU.
And they never should have ghosted, killed, pruned, none of that T'Challa, period. Because I understand going through grief. Just don't make a damn film. Or if you're going to make that film, at least make it through make it during the blip, so that can understand why you're going through that grief at that particular time. Don't just kill off the character. That's all we've ever said. That's all we ever said. And that's why I talked about, we were talking about gatekeeping. That's why I have a problem with gatekeeping. And that's why I don't say I'm right, but I feel like Ryan gatekeeped that character. And that's not right at the end of the day.
Who was excluded from the Captain America Black Panther game. Obviously, it takes place in the past, but if T'Challa was currently in the MCU, they would have killed to change the premise of that game to have synergy. In the comics, T'Challa has been banished from his own country, and in the shows like X-Men 97, they just bluntly retcon T'Challa out of the universe and use T'Chaka instead. Like, I get they might be showing respect to Chadwick, but it feels like they're using this as a pass or an excuse to shelve the character into irrelevancy when that is far from what Chadwick would want for the character.
Exactly.
Something that I've always had a love-hate relationship with is race swapped characters, because on one hand it's always good to have representation, and if you have to change the race of a character that never had much connection with said race in the beginning, then I guess it's okay. But it also takes away from the actual original minority characters that have been created but barely adapted.
Dr. Carpy,
and
what's
with
up?
That being said, even the race swapped characters have trouble getting it out the mud.
Hell, look at Wonder Man. Wonder Man is getting a whole series dumped, and he had one of the worst. At least Ironheart had a better marketing plan than Wonder Man. Wonder Man had the worst marketing plan I've ever seen in my whole entire life watching superhero films or superhero or superhero content. Legitimately. And you want me to buy into this character even though he's a race swap character?
Some reason WB was obsessed with the idea of a Black Superman movie to the point they greenlit 2 different movies, even though Milestone had Icon, a real Black Superman, but rights issues, we get it, probably wouldn't have done it anyway. One movie was focused on Val-Zod, an alternate Superman that Michael B. Jordan was producing, and who knows, might have even starred in it. And also they were developing a race-swapped Clark Kent movie that would take place during the Civil Rights era, and it was written and produced by J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates. By the way, a J.J. Abrams that was on a $250 million contract that had done zilch for WB at this point. And he's only done 1 project since signing that deal. This is why they're going bankrupt, people, by the way. I just want people to know that. Silly ass deals like this. Both of these films are acts when the Discovery and Warner Bros. Merger went through, and new CEO David Zaslav reportedly claimed they were too woke.
He's an idiot.
And Zaslav,
I told you it was too woke. I'm trying to tell you, man, they love their daddy up there in the office. They love their daddy.
wasn't done with his hostile takeover because for some reason he thought it was a better option to shelve an already filmed Batgirl movie that featured a Black female lead than to release it and maybe charge a price for it on his streaming service. I mean, they did it with the shitty ass Wonder Woman 84 movie.
Facts.
90 million was already spent on the thing, and no one cancels an already filmed movie because it just looks crazy. But hey, they did that shit for sure. But the biggest Black scandal doesn't even involve Zaslav, surprisingly, and that's Ray Fisher's Cyborg. His screen time and story was heavily cut in the theatrical release of Justice League. And I'm not even a Cyborg on a Justice League guy. Hell, I'm not even a Zack Snyder guy. But after watching his 4-hour Justice League movie, there's literally no way that movie works without Cyborg's story. And you can't just simply cut it for time. Not to mention that Ray Fisher hates WB's guts for the way he was treated on set. It just reeks of some sort of prejudice. But most of those heads are gone now, so I guess in the end, Ray kind of won. If you consider being a regular in Zack Snyder's movies a win. I mentioned previously the lack of support for Anthony Mackie as Captain America, and I really do believe that bringing back Steve for maybe a last hurrah or even a cash grab just completely kills what the saga was supposed to be.
Murders it.
Legacy was clearly a big theme of the multiverse saga, and it clearly has fallen flat. The way you're promoting your penultimate end is with a character no one has seen in 6 years, and who was presumably replaced by a successor who was constantly overshadowed marketing-wise by a what-if version of Captain America, Captain Carter. I mean, they kept trying to push this.
They literally put you, I mean, I didn't even think about that. They pushed Captain Carter to the utmost levels, and I don't care about Captain Carter. She's low budget Captain Britain. She's a low budget gender swap Captain Britain. I don't even care. I literally forgot about her. I just literally watched the movie where she got sliced in half by Wanda. I don't care.
character for some reason. No one cared for her in the first place. What if Doctor Strange and she even is in Doomsday now with a big role? Sam's story was mishandled from the start. The show should have been the movie, and the next movie should have been a new Avengers to properly introduce him as a new cornerstone and leader of the Avengers. But Loki seems like legacy for black characters is similar around the board like this. John Stewart is one of the first black superheroes. He's considered one of the best legacy characters, but I find it's kind of weird his origins are changed to mold him to be more like his previous Lanterns. For example, adding the military backstory to his character. But they kind of do this with a lot of Green Lanterns now. Guy was a social worker and a special ed teacher, but that was changed to be an ex-cop. Kyle has some government connections through his dad. The Green Lantern office has an obsession with background and police. I mean, they are quote-unquote space cops, police. But I think John, as a black man, it hurts his character the most. When he was introduced in 1971, he was a college-educated architect that wasn't afraid to call it authority, and his personality wasn't the stoic, almost dry one most people headcanonify to him today. That personality would make sense for him after Cosmic Odyssey, if you know, you know. But
and then let's be honest with you, when you look at that 1970s, he's not so super dark that a dark-skinned man only could play him. You know what I'm saying? He was damn near my complexion. You know what I mean? We also have to realize that color and stuff like that it was harder to draw a black character because of the color palette that they were using back then. Just giving a heads up. So, you know, now he wasn't Prince, you know what I mean? But come on now.
Developing that personality because of the Justice League animated series and the military background just doesn't feel right to me. Like, as a self-respecting black man, especially in the late 60s, early 70s, the last thing he would do is voluntarily join the Marines. Like, I get if he's drafted into the Vietnam War, I guess, or maybe he went through with the war on terror because he thought this was the right thing to do, but that would be only if he was ridden to regret that decision and not glorify his time in the military by dressing up as a sniper every chance he gets. Like, we get it, this nigga was 360 no-scoping children in 03, but if I'm being real, a lot of writers use the military, police, or some type of authority presence to attract a certain audience so they can feel at ease or quote-unquote relatable. I went through John Stewart's case, but there's also Luke Cage being a whole victim of the prison industrial system, but being changed to an ex-Marine in the MCU for no reason at all. They showed Sam in his movie trying to prove himself as Captain America by fighting for approval of the government instead of doing what he does in the comics, which is look out for the people and communities that get overlooked by the heroes. Monica Rambeau, Blue Marvel, Misty Knight. You can go on and on with the amount of black characters that for some reason need a military or police background to be taken seriously as a hero when white counterparts get to challenge the government and perceived aggressions of systems. Like, that was most of
I mean, if this dude is not cooking, y'all need to support this young brother and support his channel, man. He's over here cooking. Let's keep going. We about to wrap this up because I gotta roll.
Tony and Steve's arcs when they were in the Infinity Saga, and the one black character that gets to act similarly to these characters is treated as a villain. Honestly, I'll consider him a villain too for introducing that fuck-ass Bob to the I noted all of this to show how black and brown writers really make a difference when writing a character of color. I like Jeff Johns' era of Green Lantern, but even he had no idea what to do with John Stewart. He sidelined the fuck out of him while all three of the other Lanterns had main roles in other books. And I get it, he just couldn't crack the John Stewart code for real, but someone like John Ridley could actually get straight to the root of the
nope. That's he who shall not be named, especially what he did to Black Panther, especially what he did to T'Challa. Getting T'Challa getting one piece by Captain America, I would never forgive him for that. Never. What he did with T'Challa.
And the other history of the DC universe. A book with the history of the DC universe is told through the eyes of black characters in the universe, and it is here where I finally resonated with a modern John Stewart adaptation. Ridley gave John a reason to have the personality he did. The pressure of being the first black anything is hard enough, but the first black superhero, minus I guess Mal Duncan maybe, either way, he was gonna be a little aloof, and that could come off as arrogant, but what he is trying to do is be an example for a black hero and represent his community properly. So yeah, he might hover and not touch the floor of the school he visits, completely forgetting he's a mortal man just like them. And he might have just been too cocky in a mission that led to the destruction of a planet, which led him to severe depression. But the way the fallout is handled gave me a new look on John entirely. And he is not the only one. I mean, Vixen under Dwayne McDuffie got those spots I was talking about earlier. Murawa Awadele's recent Storm run is incredible and literally made her a true goddess.
He did.
I haven't personally read the run yet, but everyone raves about Cody Ziegler's run on Miles, saying it's the first time that Miles feels like he's a black Puerto Rican kid from Brooklyn. I truly believe the common denominator in good black and brown heroes is the people that create the art, and they are at their best when those creators come from the same background as the characters they write or draw. So going forward,
I agree, except for John Ridley.
I think if DC and Marvel want to truly invest and commit to these characters, whether that be in TV and movies or new comic initiatives like Next Level, please get black and brown creators involved. And also for the viewer and consumer, just support the books and characters that you like, and also support the writers that you like as well. It's important to show Marvel and DC that there is interest in these characters and they should invest more time into them. But that's all I had to say for real. Kind of long-winded, I know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think Marvel and...
All right, make sure that you check out this brother in his channel. Let me just give it to you just real quick. The Unlucky Dreamer. Make sure that you check it out. He is tagged in this video. I think he did an amazing job breaking down a lot of stuff, even some stuff I didn't even think of when we're discussing this, discussing these topics. You know what I mean? He did an amazing job. I'm not gonna lie. Make sure you guys check it out. And what did you guys think about his video, man? Put in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that up, B.
I got to get up out of here. Thank you again so very much for tuning in to another episode of the Dre Mack Show. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe power. I got to get up out of here, man. Where's my outro at? I was already late, but you already know I gotta go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.